Okay, so one of our most asked questions is what's going on with the value of the US dollar and will BRICS have anything to do with that? And Dean didn't want to answer this question for a long time, but tonight he's finally agreed to it. So what do you think?
Finally agreed to it.
Finally.
Well, I never thought it was significant. I thought it was just a lot of fear mongering spread out there, So I decided, okay, let me just go look into it, and my research basically confirmed my perspective on it. All right. So here's the thing: is the decline in the value of the U.S. dollar something where everyone needs to freak out about? Number one. Number two is the fact that we may not be the reserve currency, we may be removed as the reserve currency, a reality, and whether it's a big deal or not, I don't think it's a big deal even because look at other economies like the EU, they're not reserve currency, they're great economies, right? But anyways, no more tangents. Okay, and the third one is, what's the threat from this BRICS thing you read? I still think that's just fear mongering and, bullshit basically. So, first things first, the decline in the value of the US dollar, right? Is that a big deal? Is that something everyone needs to worry about? Charts. Look, Wall Street Journal, value of the US dollar. This is the dollar index going back to 1986 until today, right? 23. Look, the decline of the US dollar, yeah, it's declining, right? But look at the decline here. 2008, what happened here? Great financial crisis, right? What happened here? 9/11, boom. Recession, huge one right here. .com run up, a lot of money flowed into the US, bubble burst, boom. So look, we're here right now. Does that look like something to freak out about? Look at it. It's just over 100, the index. It used to be, what? South of 80. So, make sense? Mm-hmm. It's not as dire. Yeah, the value is declining. It's not as dire. So, to understand the value of a currency, how does a currency get valuated, right? It's economics 101. It's supply and demand. Mm-hmm. There's more demand for your currency, or people want to buy things in your currency, mm-hmm. right? Or put money in your country, right? Value goes up. The demand for your currency goes up, and vice versa, right? Supply mm-hmm. and demand, right? So what's happened was the demand in the value of the US dollar has declined. Now, what drives the demand for a country's currency, right? Especially as a reserve currency, right? Strength of your economy, strength of your equities market. If your markets are doing really well, money flows in and that drives the demand for your currency, right? Stable interest rates. People don't have any fear that you're going to go in a recession or get into a big downturn. People put, more money comes in. And, and vice versa, right? If your GDP is declining, if a recession is coming, you're slowing down in your growth, you have unstable, fast rising interest rates, right? All of which happening right now, that works on the other way. It reduces the demand, so it declines the value, right? So if you look at that chart, and what I said, you can explain why it's happening, but is it something to freak out about in the value? No. And what's the other big question? The reserve status, right? Yeah, us having our currency as the reserve currency in the world, it's like, I always say it's like that kid with the biggest stick in the block that gets his way. We do that because we can sanction people. It's good for us politically, geopolitically, and for our, us being the reserve currency of the world gives us power. And hey, it's good to be the kid with the biggest baseball bat on the block. Get your way, right? It's good for your people, for us. The people of the country. It's better for us. It's, So if what's the risk to the reserve us being taken off the reserve currency? Now, Warren Buffett Saturday, I was listening and he said, not anytime soon. He's very, 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 very doubtful that's going to happen, especially at least not anytime soon. And that guy knows a thing or two, right? So let's look at the facts, right? Okay, so this is a chart of foreign holdings in the US dollar. Okay, now this is how much Japan holds, China holds our money, blah, 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 the UK, Ireland, I don't know why Luxembourg, that's interesting, but Brazil, and then this is all the other countries, right? But look here, 2013, south of 6 trillion in US, foreign country holding US dollars. Look at it here now. Do you see the chart like diving? Is that something to be concerned about? Okay, no, right? And the other one, okay? Here's the percentages of reserves in US dollars, the percentage of each country's reserves in US dollars. Look, US is the blue. O2, just say 65, 67%, whatever. December 22, 60%. Is that a huge drop in other countries using the US dollar as its reserve? No. So what's all the freak out about, right? So why are we the reserve currency of the world? Because we have liquid. One very important thing about your currency is how liquid your bond market is. You know, we have an extremely liquid market. You want to sell your treasuries today, you sell it books instantly. You want to, and it's open market. It's a completely open system, right? You want to send your money out right now to China, you can send it. There's no restrictions, you know, so that's why we are open, backed by the full faith and credit of the US government, right? As fucked up as our government are, it's probably one of the better governments that you can trust that they will uphold their currency, right? Not so much for China, and don't even get started on Russia and the rest of them, right? Right, so that's one of the biggest reasons why to me it's a stretch to say that there's a threat to the US dollar being the reserve currency. And the third thing is this BRICS thing. I think it's just fear mongering. Okay? Like if you look at the transactions that they do, yeah, sure, there's buying and selling oil with Saudi Arabia in their own currency. Now, great. Russia can't sell its oil unless it's traded in yuan or Indian rupee or whatever, right? So are they a real threat to us? I don't think so, right? Because look at the Chinese yuan. There's that entire country's banking system has capital controls by the government. You can't just freely send money in and out, number one. Number two, their currency is pegged to the US dollar. It's not supply and demand-based valuation with the US dollar. It's pegged. Like a lot of third world countries are pegged. So the currency isn't free floating. You want to trust the currency like that as a reserve currency? Oh, Russian ruble, Brazilian real, really? No freaking way. As I showed you just now, look, 60% of the world uses this. What's it? Where's the renminbi Chinese yuan? Here. Is that a threat to us? So you take all these other countries and put them all together, is that going to be a threat to us? No. So I think what's causing this is all fear-mongering, right? Because I won't say where, but you hear it in certain channels or certain, sides only. Number one. Number two, it's election year next year. Number three, as with all other past down markets, with the US dollar values dropping and, high interest rates, whatnot, who's trying to sell you shit right now? What do you hear on TV and everything? Oh, buy gold. US currency is going to crash, right? If you go use any AI-based search tool and you look at the sources of what comes out, it's all those gold, people trying to sell you gold. So I don't think these concerns have any significant, reasons for concern. We come out of this recession, our currency is going to be way back up again. The markets move up, our currency is going to come up again. So everyone just chill out.